Let's take you to Cape Town live now, where my colleague, ENCA reporter Lindsay Dentlinger, is already in the Parliamentary precinct since the early hours of the morning as we build up to tonight's delivery of the State of the Nation address. Is the red carpet ready, Lindsay? Is everything set now?
Dan, we're getting there slowly but surely. The parts of the red carpet already rolled out. As you know, this is a night of very serious business, but it's also a night of a lot of pomp and ceremony. I'm going to take you along the red carpet. The President will alight from his vehicle just a little way down from where I'm standing and inspect the Presidential Guard as he comes up here. And come with me. I'm going to take you up the carpet where he will walk alongside the presiding officers, also with his wife, and they will come up the steps of the National Assembly here to ahead of the national anthem being sung. This is the red dice that people will see the President standing on. It's all clearly marked. The numbers are already labelled out on the mat. As you can see, it's already cordoned off, and I'm not allowed to pass this point. 4 little stickers show the spots where the President, his wife and the presiding officers need to stand. This is where you see him put his hand on his chest, sing the national anthem, and when the 21 gun salutes also get sounded before he moves through the double doors here into the National Assembly chamber. So as you can see, everybody is priming, doing their things. There's still a little bit of painting going on, some last minute painting. This is the exit of Teinhuis. You can see these ladies very busy cleaning up here ahead of tonight. And this is also where we'll see the choir, Parliament's choir that performed earlier this morning. They will also be standing here and singing for those who attend. And Parliament's going a little bit high-tech this year, a light of SONA and a hashtag. We expect it to probably be lit up later this evening. So that's what it looks like here on the steps. This is what people see on television and might not always look familiar to them when there are people about and a lot of action. But as you can see, preparations now in full swing for the President's 4th State of the Nation address.
Yeah, final touches there happening just behind you there, Lindsay. Now, ahead of this, a lot of people are saying a lot of things, business, civil society, expectations, but politicians as well have got stuff to say what they expect to come out of tonight's SONA.
Always, Dan, it's always a tall order for the President and a lot of expectations always pinned on him, more so probably tonight than ever before. I spoke to some of the leaders of political parties a little earlier, Kuleko Shlengwa of the IFP, also the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Public Accounts, saying he wants to hear the President make very decisive, bold decisions about these state-owned enterprises that are draining taxpayers and just causing a world of pain for the ministers involved. Let's take a listen to what he told me earlier.
The President really needs to assert the authority of the state insofar as the law enforcement agency's capacity is concerned, because we are not going to be able to deal with the systemic corruption which has collapsed these entities if we're not going to have consequence management internally and externally with your law enforcement agencies. We need the NPA to actually be functional and effective. It is unacceptable that there are 700 vacancies for prosecutors. 3 of the 4 deputy heads of the NPA positions remain vacant. A year later, Advocate Bato's got very little to speak to about the successes that she could point to about the NPA. And amongst other things is because we have not dealt decisively, whether it's in the law enforcement agencies or the SOEs or government department and entities, with middle management where actually the implementation and operations of the things we expect to happen should happen. happen. Therefore, if you're speaking about SOEs in the absence of consequences on one hand, but also policy certainty on the other, Eskom is in 6s and 7s. You are dealing with an SAA which is under business rescue and cutting routes. And our expectation, as I'm saying, is that the president really needs to be bold about these things. So from a SCOMA perspective, we're meeting with Eskom next week, Tuesday, and SAA next week, Wednesday, with the business rescue practitioners. So we bring these matters to a logical conclusion. This thing has been too open-ended without any conclusion, not any certainty, but bold decisions need to be taken by the president tonight.
Bold decisions the IFP wants to see the president take tonight. As you said, Lindsay, a little earlier, it's a tall order. Some people are expecting practical stuff to come out.
Yeah, Brian, but Dan, that always seems to be the expectation, people wanting to hear exact a plan of action from the president. And as the speaker, Thandi Modise, told me earlier today, this is more for him to lay out a plan of action, not necessarily for him to give, every little detail in black and white. This is the blueprint, if you will, for the year ahead, looking back at what has been achieved and that going forward. But that doesn't always satisfy many of the opposition parties here. They want the detail. As we know, the devil is in the detail, and arguably whether SONA is the time to do that or not, that's what they want to hear. So too the DA's John Steenhuisen, the leader of the official opposition, also wanting to hear the president make announcements specifically in relation to Eskom. We know that the power utility has featured prominently in recent State of the Nation addresses, and again this evening they want to hear specifics from the president as to what's going to be done about the power utility.
I want to hear him saying that he's going to free this nation from Eskom and the monopoly that it holds. It's unable to provide the electricity. I want him to say that he's going to unbundle Eskom. We're going to sell the gas-fired, the coal-fired power stations to pay off Eskom's debt, and to lift the cap and allow businesses and households to generate electricity, provide it into the grid, and allow municipalities to procure directly from independent power producers. Overnight, he will unleash a revolution of energy revolution in South Africa that will create hundreds of jobs and get us onto a more sustainable footing where we won't have these rolling blackouts that are killing jobs and killing the economy. We need to give power back to the people, and you do that by involving them in the solution.
That's the DA's John Steenhuisen. Well, Lindsay, we're going to have to leave it there, but I understand very briefly, according to Thandi Modise earlier, that's a report we've had, that they are not going to be spending a lot of money and there might not be dinner tonight.
There definitely won't be dinner tonight, Dan, so those who are going to attend here had better do so before they come here or have their Uber Eats waiting for them when they get home. But as has been customary in recent years, wanting to cut costs, Thandi Modise again making it clear, no dinner. And as I'm standing here in front of the bust of Nelson Mandela, we shouldn't also lose sight of the fact that tonight's State of the Nation address also gets made against the backdrop of the 30th anniversary of his release from prison, celebrated here in Cape Town just 2 days ago, and Parliament also making specific reference to the fact that tonight will really be an occasion to take stock of how far South Africa has come since Nelson Mandela was freed.
Thank you very much, Lindsay Dentlinger in the Parliamentary precinct in Cape Town.